Now going over to question 11, to start this question, we can see that the length of arc PS is twice the length of arc PQ. So we can show that with x's. If PS has 2 x's, for PQ we can put 1 x. Now let's go over some circle rules. Let's just say on a circle, I have an arc that is a 40-degree arc. So degrees are just fractions of a circle, because a whole circle is 360 degrees. So if that's 40 degrees, then that kind of tells us what fraction of the circle we're talking about. 40 over 360. In other words, that's 1/9 of the circumference of the circle. In any case, if this is a 40-degree arc, then this is a 40-degree angle, because central angles have a 1-to-1 ratio with the arc that they correspond to. On the other hand, if we come out of that same arc and we go all the way across the circle, this angle here is called an inscribed angle. It hits the same 40-degree arc, but instead of going to the center, it goes to the opposite side of the circle. And the measure of that one would be 20. So inscribed angles have a 1-to-2 ratio. So we also know in geometry that when you have two angles that are on opposite sides of an X shape, like these two angles here, let's call them A and B, we know that A equals B, because those are called vertical angles in geometry. And in the picture, these are vertical angles with each other, and these are also vertical angles with each other. But let's focus on the red ones. So we have those two angles, and we know they're equal, and we know they're central angles. So therefore, these two arcs have to be equal, because the angle and the arc have a 1-to-1 relationship with each other. So we know in terms of degrees that PQ and SR would have the same number of degrees, whatever those degrees are. But when we're talking about the 2x and the x, we're not talking about degrees, we're talking about the actual length. Like if you were an insect walking along this circle, how far would you walk? That's kind of what we're talking about there. But in any case, if PQ has a length of x, then we know SR has a length of x, because of the whole idea of the vertical angles and the central angle having a 1-to-1 ratio with the arc. So long story short, if this has a length of x, then this has a length of x. And similarly, if this has a length of 2x, then QR also will have a length of 2x. So now if I want the whole circumference, in terms of x, that whole circumference is 2x plus x plus 2x plus x. In other words, it's 6x. So the whole circumference is 6x, but they told us in this question that the circumference is equal to 144 pi. So 6x is 144 pi. Therefore, x divided by 6 on both sides, that would be 24 pi. So if they asked us what's the length of PQ or SR, those are each 24 pi, because they're each 1x, and we just figured out what x was. However, they're asking us about QR. So they're asking us about this arc right here. That has 2x on it. So if x is 24 pi, 2x is 48 pi, which is this one here. So the answer is B.